From homeless back to a hotel, Fullestness is full of surprises, and they promise they won't ever be homeless again. The last time we were with Foolishness, my fault, Fullestness, they were getting evicted from their hotel because they owed them $7,000 and they didn't want to pay it. So they went back to tent living.
Evicted and we owe 7 grand, and so they're denying us services. I brought my dirty towels to the front desk, and this person goes into the dirty bag, pulls it out, and says, "What is this? You should have thrown this in the trash." My whole thing is, why are you talking to me like that? So, and my second thing is, we've been bringing them same type of towels here this whole time we've been here paying money. The person's issue, and they said it themselves, is that we owe 7 grand and they don't have to do shit. He can talk to me any type of way he wants. They cannot deny us services just because we owe money. We got evicted.
Actually, they can. You're not paying for the services. So therefore, they can deny them to you. Why do you think that you should be allowed to take advantage of someone else's labor?
We got 5 days left. 5 days. That's what the paper said. You can't use the services here. You can't use the laundry. You can't do all this other stuff. We excited to get out of here. We're gonna run it up though. We're not leaving until we ready. His whole thing was like, well, you still here, and you telling everybody that you supposed to be leaving. Well, how come you still here? Because we ain't ready to move yet. That's why we gonna run it up. He said, well, you still paying money every day. Okay, well, when we leave, we still owe y'all. So what's the difference? You just mad because we running it up. That the paper is law. We got until the 21st. That's disrespectful.
It's very disrespectful for you to be such a entitled bum. And that just let me know you ain't been punched in your mouth at your big age. Go to the military. We need some able bodies. That's what we need from you. We don't need you making content. That's the problem. You're taking advantage of a system that was put in place to actually help people that are in need. You're broke because you don't want to get a job. You're in that situation because you refuse to pay your bills. Oh, girl make OF content. You make homeless content and bummy content and an inspiring rapper and a day trader or whatever you calling yourself. That is how they make their money. They're doing their job. You're making their job more difficult because you want to leech off of them. They could be renting that room out to somebody that can actually afford to stay there. But instead it's being occupied by two bums that's taking their precious time to move about that piece and think that they got maids and servants for free. That's the problem. And then you're making videos acting like they the ones that's in the wrong. And you look like you stink.
Be like looking in the dirty clothes bag and showing this people. He did give us the towels too, by the way. It's just he gave me lip. I got the lip because I got the towels.
Yeah. And then he's going to sit there and say, well, I don't have to do this for you. Oh, it seems like you do, because you are.
And then he in the hallway talk about how much money we make on.
See, that's why you can't be nice to everybody. He gave me lip, wouldn't have been no more towels. You would have been towelless that night. I would have had a meeting. Hey, this room doesn't get towels because they don't pay rent. They can stay here, but we're not giving them any extra amenities. If they are not out by the 21st, I want you to call the police bright and early. Because you're getting out today. It's too much. It really is. He gave me lip. Did you pay? No. Like, come on.
YouTube saying y'all YouTubers and stuff. I see how much money y'all make and everything. You know everything that's going on up in here then. No, you don't. Okay? I tell people what. The thing is, though, I do tell people, though, he just not paying attention. Okay? We make X amount of money, but we were irresponsible. That's our business that we're sharing with the world. So he's upset that we're being irresponsible. Okay, you can be upset about that, but that doesn't mean you disrespect us. Okay? You are a worker here. You're supposed to be giving us hospitality. It doesn't matter if he said, well, they digging in my... I understand that they're digging in.
You don't consider you not paying your bills as disrespect. You don't see how you're impacting someone else's job. He's responsible for managing the hotel, for making sure those rooms are booked. And because you chose to be irresponsible, knowing that for multiple months, you knew you had rent and you refused to pay it because you're using the system to your advantage, and you know they can't kick you out. They have to go through the eviction process to get your behind out there. You're stealing from them. And that's the biggest problem. That's disrespectful. And then you want to act like you the victim because you don't want to pay your rent.
Yeah, because we owe 7 grand, but it's not fair for you to treat us like that.
He better than me because I wouldn't have gave you nothing. After the 21st came, they moved back to their humble abode, which is this beautiful tent that's covered in snow. We're getting removed from the hotel in 4 days because we got evicted. That snow looks so pretty.
Our first day being homeless because we don't want to pay rent. So we got to set up all this stuff in here. But there's a lot of stuff that we got to set up.
And there's some outside too.
Yeah.
A lot of organization.
A lot of stuff we got to do. So we slept in here last night. It was very, very warm. Like, I was so warm in here because we even got got a little cover on the top of it over here. Cover this up, and then it's dark in here too. It's real cozy in there. Yeah, we be chilling. It's really like, it's cold outside, but the difference in temperature is crazy. Like when you come in here, and especially when you go in here.
Sir, you got on a huge jacket. I'd rather be inside with heat. And I understand some people have to do what they need to do, but this isn't the case for them. They're just being bummed. And it's unfortunate. And ma'am, I don't know why you with him. You got a whole man that keep you and him both homeless. Make that type of love never find.
They don't set up like that. So yeah, we about to get something to eat. We about to chill. Yeah, we gonna set up everything. Everything gonna be set up in here. It's gonna be nice. It's a little tight in here for sleeping, so we're gonna do some adjustments in here. But look how dark it gets when you cover this thing completely. Can't see anything in here. It's amazing. Look at that. Completely black.
Be completely back in the big tent too if you didn't have that light on.
Oh my God, so fun in here. Yo, this is so fun.
A bum's dream. You get to hunch on somebody for free. You ain't gotta pay no rent. One thing I can give y'all a round of applause for is that y'all did not have any kids together. So I guess you guys are being responsible in that aspect. But he does have a son. And I feel like he should be a better example for his son. And he most definitely should be paying child support and being an active parent in that child's life. For some of you wondering, would this force them to get a 9-to-5? The answer is no. They not getting no 9-to-5. So stop asking.
Refused to get a 9-to-5. We got evicted from the hotel we were staying at. Now we're homeless. I could have got a 9-to-5, but I'm never doing that. I would rather be homeless and live outside than work for somebody else. Me and my girl gonna work for ourselves. She does her service. We record our videos on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. That's how we get paid. And this would not be possible without you guys. So thank you so much for watching and supporting us to the fullest, because I'm never getting a job. I can't stand working for somebody else for it.
He ain't ever getting a job. He a pimp. He pimping her out. For those of you that like BBWs, there you go. She the breadwinner in a relationship. She gotta go ahead and push out that OF content so they could get up out of that tent and support his investments. He don't want to work nobody, but he wants somebody working for him. He a boss.
Another company working on their time. I'd rather work on my own time and scale my money as much as I would like to. Not trade my time for money directly. When you work at a job, you work this amount of hours, you only gonna get paid this much. Then you can move up, then you get paid this much for working this long. Man, with this stuff, the stuff that we doing, the businesses that we doing, these videos that we record, man, the video do well, I can get so much money from that video.
Keyword if it does well. And yes, he does post consistent on all platforms or whatever the case may be. But you guys were getting money from social media and you mishandled it. So to me, in my eyes, you don't need to be over the finances. Because there's no reason why there should be so much fluctuation and y'all going from being in a hotel to being in a tent. Because you keep putting your family in a bad situation. As into why she keep putting her trust in this fool, I have absolutely no idea. But she's where she wants to be. This the type of love that these men be talking about when they say, you don't want to struggle with me. You wasn't with me when I didn't have nothing. You wouldn't date me. When I was down on my luck, you wasn't there for me. This type of stupid love. When they ain't got no money and you out here having to turn all these tricks while they sit there and blah, 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 blah. They ride or die. Because they're living in a tent, they have to weather the elements and animals. So at one point, they had ticks. Ooh, y'all need some raid. Yeah. See that? See? I'm good. Yeah. And that's inside. Nope, not gonna do it. The devil a whole lot. God didn't put me on this earth to suffer. Nah, bro, he would have went ahead and got it how he lived. Cause I ain't dealing with that. When you're homeless and super grateful.
Because there's people that don't have anything. At least I have a tent. Look at these nylon walls, polyester walls. Look at this right here. You see this right here? This is so it don't get punctured. I'm grateful. There's people that live in mud houses. They don't have power. Look at this. You see this? Grateful. Okay.
Look at this. Let me show y'all something. Boom. Boom. Oh my gosh. I have power. Like, sir, you're not going to make your tent living seem luxurious at all.
I can have no power. There's homeless people that ain't got nothing. There's people that's not even eating nutritious foods. We have stores. Are you serious, man? I'm grateful. I don't want to be homeless, but I don't need a home.
I don't know whose land they're on. I'm shocked no one's come and checked to see if they have people staying on their property. I think that he's saying all of this stuff and he's making it seem like, oh, it's a great situation. But the reality is, it's not a great situation because he's not talking about the negatives that sometimes come with you being homeless and living out of a tent. It can be very dangerous, especially for women, because you have some men that are out there that are predators. They may be homeless, but they're still predators. And even for some of the men where you have to protect yourself. That's why you have a lot of these homeless people that have dogs, because not only the dogs are loyal, but they also alert them to any danger that may come their way. And also they have access to money. They weren't paying their bills. While they weren't paying their bills, they were stacking money.
Okay? I'm surviving. I'm grateful for the bare necessities and then some. We got lights in here, multiple. A dresser? Are you serious? Look at this. Nutrition, knobs, and all this stuff. All this stuff in here. We got a carpet. Extra grateful. There's people that don't have anything. I'm grateful for y'all too, because y'all watch us and everything. We don't have to have none of this stuff. I could be sleeping on the ground, but I'm not. I'm sleeping in a tent. And I'm grateful for that. I'm surviving and I'm healthy. We are going to get a tiny home, but we don't need one. And we're grateful to have this right now. We're happy right now with where we are right now. I'm homeless and I'm I'm not trying to be homeless. I don't want to live out here, but I ain't got no choice right now because me and Brianna made decisions to run a business when we wasn't ready. And now we ain't got no money. And now we got to stay out here because right now we ain't got our credit is horrible. And there's no way we're going to get a nice crib or a crib at all. And I said nice crib because we might be able to get a crib in the hood, but I'm not trying to live in the hood. I'm not trying to deal with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to stay out here and stay out the way, save this money, and get a nice crib somewhere nice and safe where the crime rate ain't high. Now, for people that got to deal with that, man, I feel so bad for y'all, for real.
You the type of individual that be sitting out here bringing down property value. You didn't have to mention a hood at all. And your nasty statement. They got a home to go to, running electricity and water. They ain't having to fight ticks. You get a place where you can afford. It don't have to be in a shiesty neighborhood. He talking about, well, our credit is horrible. We want a nice crib. You want to be paying a hotel $3,600 a month. That's what you want to be doing.
And y'all strong for pushing through that. Y'all really strong for real for going through that every day. And that's fear every day. That's what I'm talking about. People be asking us, how do y'all not worry about somebody robbing y'all? Because we don't live in a bad area. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of strife and struggle out here. And for us to be homeless, people, they be like, why would y'all be homeless? Well, other than saving money, we comfortable with it because we in an area that's not going to be like that. Cops always be around here. They be looking out for it. Like, that's what I'm...
You act like you a contributing member to society. You're a leech. We're in a nice area.
I'm trying to say, we stay out the way to be low key, but the cops can't remove us. The property manager can. So the property manager didn't catch us yet. But in the meantime...
Exactly. The property manager have not caught you yet.
Time be safe. You don't have to worry about nobody. People out here, they don't know we out here, but we hear people walking around. It's safe out here. So we grateful for that. And it's really hard. I can't imagine what everybody else is going through that's homeless. And there's people that, want to try it because they're trying to save money like us. But they might not be able to do that because of so many circumstances. And one of them being like where they live at. And it's like, it's not fair.
Boy, you living on the edge every single day. That property manager ain't came out there yet. They ain't got enough complaints for the people in that neighborhood. They be like, hey, That tent gotta go. You got somebody abandoned living on your property, and that's messing up our property value. We trying to keep our value high. I'm gonna need you to remove him up out of the. So he living on.
Because me and Brianna go through a lot together. It's not about money. It's about me and her working together properly so we can make money, because we're positioned to make good money from this. The success rate of business partners is way lower than a regular partnership. Me and her go through a lot trying to figure out how to run the business together. Fullestness. So we're homeless because me and her are still learning how to run a business together while in a romantic relationship. That is hard. Our credit is really bad too. So if it wasn't for that, we would have gotten an apartment. So now we're getting hotels. Hotels are more expensive and we can't afford it, which is why we're homeless. And we want.
And you keep talking about the brand Fullestness. When y'all was up the first time, why didn't y'all go get an apartment? Because you wouldn't have had the eviction from the hotel on your record. You probably would have had to pay a higher down payment, but you still could have got you a place to live. But that's not what you wanted to do because you're irresponsible. And then you have all of these excuses and all of this lip service down the line. A bunch of foolishness. Because that's exactly what this is.
Want to save money fast so we're not homeless anymore. This is not easy. A 9-to-5 would not solve that. Our job, we make more money from that passively than we would at a job. The issue is that our credit is bad and me and her are learning how to work together as a team. Because if we had a job, we would just make less money. And
no, you could make more money because not only would you have your 9-to-5, you would also have your social media content going on. So that would have been more money coming your way. You don't want to work a 9-to-5. Cool. But when you don't want to work a 9-to-5, you have to be consistent and you have to be smart with your finances that you are generating at this particular moment. It is what it is.
We would still be home. It would be homeless longer because our credit is so bad. Like, where would we go? While I'm homeless, I do a lot of reading about psychology, about my brain, my life, my history, and how to be the best version of myself, for my son, and for my woman. Also,
no, you couldn't possibly be doing this for your son. Like, you keep talking about your son that you not creating an environment that he could come visit, that you could spend time with him.
Make videos about our life being homeless, okay? Showing how we live, like this double tent in the tent to stay warm in the winter. This is how we make money, and it wouldn't be possible without you guys. That's our hard because you're constantly sweating. My armpits be funky.
I told y'all he was up in there stinking.
Be funky. And my feet be funky too. Now breath don't be funky. That ain't got nothing to do with heat, but body be funky. Like, and the showers and stuff, we take showers, we go to the hotel or Planet Fitness, okay? But you sweating your ass off to get there too. Like, we be funky, okay? Farting in here, and they got the
I know
in here. It gets trapped in here. It do be funky in here. But we do everything we can to make sure it's not, okay? So that's why I take this dookie out fast. When we fart, air it out. Make sure you use Carpe for your arms. That's like this deodorant stuff right here. Look. And then we also have rags and stuff. Wash your face off. We clean our hands. That's another big thing. Hands got to be clean, okay? Because it get funky fast in here, especially in the summer. Okay, so
summer hasn't even arrived yet. You made this video in April.
Ever be homeless ever again. We moved out of the tent after being here for 3 months because we got evicted from the hotel that we were staying at. We owed them $7,000. Our credit is really bad, so we couldn't get an apartment. The hotels were our only option, but you need money for that, and we had no money saved up, so we had no option but to live in a tent.
We were homeless before, so living in a tent is familiar to us. Also, we can save a lot of money since we aren't paying rent.
So the goal was to save.
I'm about to be in these folks' business. So TikTok pay out on the 15th of each month. YouTube pay out on the 21st of each month. I don't know when OF pay is out. Let me see. OnlyFans creators can withdraw their earnings manually at any time as long as their available balance meets the minimum of $20, or they can set up automatic payouts that process once a week, every Monday, or once a month. So she got an OF. If she pushing out content on that, because I believe that is one of their main sources of income. They had enough money to get up out of that motel when they got evicted. They had enough money to go to another hotel. They chose to go to a tent because that's how they were going to generate more content. So if any of y'all was ever feeling sorry for these individuals, I want y'all to stop, because this is a choice.
Money as possible while we stayed out here, and also stay low key, and we didn't get caught. We're leaving on our own terms. We finally moved out and got a temporary home.
We say temporary because we have to move from hotel to hotel. For the time being, we are building credit. Our ultimate goal is to get land so we can build our tiny home and homestead.
So happy we don't have to deal with ticks anymore. This is the fastest move we have ever completed. Me and Brianna got this done in literally like 4 hours. That's it. Even the employee was like, wow, you guys got that done really fast. He literally has no idea that we just got finished moving out of a tent.
This is our temporary home. We're paying $3,597 a month to stay here.
Yes, very expensive, but it's worth not being homeless ever again. And this is all we can do right now. We looked for other hotels, but we can't find ones that are cheap, like the last hotel that we had. We didn't want to spend another day being homeless, so we decided to just get out and pay this amount. And this is why we say temporary. We will never.
Okay, so y'all are temporarily there. I'm pretty sure they have a certain day that you have to get out of that hotel because they don't want you establishing squatters' rights. So y'all gonna be hotel hopping. This is our second time being homeless, and we'll never be homeless again after this. We have an entire journey of living in storage units, going to tent, living next to a shopping mall, and so many other crazy things. So we're just happy to finally have a home.
We're homeless 22 days ago. We're grateful to have a kitchen. I mean, in the tent, not having a kitchen was so frustrating. We barely cooked. Most of the time, we just got takeout because cooking was a hassle without a kitchen. It was so extra stressful. We have a sink now with water, granite countertops. I am so grateful for that. We had nothing like that when we were in the tent. And I'm not just grateful for it because I didn't have it. I'm grateful for it because I have it. And I've been thinking about that a lot. Don't just be grateful for something just because you didn't have it before and now you do. Just be grateful with that.
I see you got them gaming systems. I see you ain't put those up for sale. You got PS5 and an Xbox. You didn't get rid of none of those things while you was on your homeless journey. I don't want to hear your mouth.
You have it. Just value the things that you have. Take care of them. Show appreciation to them. Like when we were homeless, we were forced to do that because it was like, you know, we didn't have a lot of resources and it wasn't in abundance. Like it's just, we were forced to think about the everyday things that we use. So it forced us to think about the value of them. And now that we're not homeless anymore, we still want to keep that mindset. Like, no, things are valuable, like water, electricity, countertops, kitchen.
The reason why you had to take account for electricity is because you were running off of a generator. To me, you don't have to live with a scarcity mindset if you're doing what you need to do. It does not mean that you don't handle your finances, be a good steward over the things that you have, but you don't need to be living in fear either, because that's from trauma. And their trauma, for the most part, is self-created.
All of these different resources that dominate our modern day of life that we use every day and enjoy. You know, we take it for granted, and being homeless taught us not to do that. So we want to keep that, and we will keep that. You know, it's a challenge, you know. We will admit it's a challenge to keep that value, but we don't want to do that.
Dude, I thought that was something in my house, but that's actually him moving stuff. That's why you see me like looking up, like tweaking, like I know him, like, oh my God.
Especially because on top of that, resources are running low. You know, water, the access to fresh water is getting harder. We're really grateful to finally have a home now. And we appreciate every piece of it. We're going to take care of it. And moving forward, we're going to get a tiny home and do the same thing there. We're not going to stay here forever. We're not even going to stay here super, super long. We're going to be hotel hopping for a little bit and then eventually get land and get a tiny home. We're stacking up credit while we stay here.
Sir, bye. And so we come to the conclusion that they're going to be hotel hopping, which, hey, I'm just glad that you all have a roof over your head and y'all not leeching off somebody else's land. I hope that the idea of you guys getting a tiny home works out for you. At first, it was going to be you all getting a RV, but that never happened either. And then a tiny home. So I think it's another homeless journey coming their way so they can once again stack money and deal with their credit. We have to get into them deciding that they're no longer going to be using silverware, which I think is absolutely disgusting. Silverware is making us lazy, detached. The immune upgrade. Metal is a dead surface where bacteria sits. Your skin actively produces natural antimicrobials, peptides, and touching your food transfers healthy flora to your gut, acting like a daily immune software update. The brain gut hack. Touching your food triggers the cephalic phase of digestion. It sends instant neurological signals to your brain, releasing the exact enzymes needed to improve nutrition absorption and preventing bloat before the first bite. The sustainability flex. Washing silverware wastes up to 2,000 gallons of water a year. Going utensil free slashes your carbon footprint, saves dishwasher space, and keeps plastic out of landfills. The functional edge. Using your hands builds up real-world grip strength and enhances fine motor dexterity. Why buy, store, and wash a drawer full of 1.0 metal tools when you were born with a 2.0 biological system? You can't trust these type of clowns. Like, sir, please.
Is making us lazy, detached, and completely disconnected from our own health. We treat silverware like a safety shield. But what if I told you that relying on utensils is making you less mindful and completely disconnected?
Y'all seen them utensils in that corner, right?
You from your health. We're making tuna sandwiches and we're using as least utensils as possible.
Let's smash the biggest myth first. Cleanliness. People think a fork is automatically cleaner than a hand. That's a passive hygiene trap where you trust metal blindly. When your hands are the tools, hygiene becomes active. The science of soap is exact. A proper 20-second scrub destroys the outer membrane of harmful bacteria on your skin just as efficiently as it does on steel. Your freshly washed hands are functionally just as clean and safe as any utensil. Old plastic and wooden tools get microscopic scratches that permanently trap
God, don't it? Seasoning, my gosh.
in a rigid biofilm. But skin is a living, flexible organ. When you wash, those flexible pores clear out completely.
But washed hands offer an added bonus that metal will never. Your natural flora. Medical experts call using your hands a handshake with your food, introducing the normal bacteria from your clean skin microbiome to your gut. Serves as a daily micro workout for your
Sir, you couldn't tell me a dang on thing about when it comes to my health.
immune system, keeping it primed and resilient. And the biology goes deeper. Digestion actually starts in the brain through the cephalic phase, if I said that right. As our fingertips manipulate the texture and density of this tuna, millions of nerve endings send rapid data straight to the brain. Your body uses this preview to release the exact gastric juices needed to digest this specific meal, cutting
You need to leave that stuff alone, sir. You
down
need to
on
leave it
bloating.
alone.
Plus, your fingers act as a natural thermometer, protecting your mouth from thermal burns.
You radically slash your waste. Even at home, clearing silverware out of your sink opens up space, letting you run fewer dishwasher cycles and saving hundreds of gallons of water.
It's a conscious lifestyle shift that upgrades your digestion, your
She laughing because she know the type of nonsense they selling you.
utensils, and it's just as clean, if not cleaner, to use your hands than utensils are. Utensils drastically reduces plastic use.
Why you didn't use your hand in that boiling water? Huh? Why you didn't use your hands to stir that stuff up, sir? Why not? Because you would have got burnt. So there are reasons for utensils.
Think about all the single-use plastic trash we waste every single year, plus the massive industrial pollution that comes from manufacturing metal cutlery. On top of that, you save massive amounts of water. Keeping silverware out of your sink opens up so much space, meaning you run way fewer dishwasher cycles and save hundreds of gallons of hot water a year. Now, why am I so confident that hands are cleaner? Because people blindly trust a fork out of a drawer, but old metal and plastic utensils
That's washed. That's washed. That's put in there with other clean forks. Like stop with the ignorance. Because I like to stir my oatmeal properly. Y'all, I done broke my nail. I'm hot.
get microscopic scratches that permanently trap bacteria in a hidden slime layer called a biofilm. Your hands don't do that. Soap science is simple. A proper 20-second wash literally tears apart bad bacteria and flushes it away. Your skin is a living, flexible organ, so when you wash it, it actually clears it out completely. Once your hands are clean, you get a biological bonus metal can never recreate, and that's your natural flora. Doctors call using your hands a handshake with your food, putting those healthy bacteria from your clean skin into your gut. It's like a daily micro workout for your immune system. It's not all perfect. There is a huge learning curve to this lifestyle. You saw my breakfast earlier. You know I completely ruined my eggs. They got totally stuck to the bottom of the pan. When you don't use a spatula, figuring out how to stir a hot egg and manage the heat is incredibly hard. I was trying to scrape the bottom, scratching around.
You go ahead and you figure that out. I know certain culture, and don't get me wrong, right? I know that there are certain cultures that eat with their hands. Like when you have Ethiopian food with like the bread and stuff, and you pick it up and you eat it and you put it in your mouth. That's a part of their culture. Cool. I think Indian culture, they do it as well. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm American and I prefer it for it. As always, remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Stay blessed.